improvements, or for playground equipment, but it is something that we need to start working on and getting some of this.
Considering next year's budget, but this, the recommendation of our Parks Director is for the demolition of these, for the safety of the kids and his inability to really keep them out of there, which I understand. They're attractive by design. So any other questions, Council?
Right, so we can set this, we can move forward on this, the asking here, but are we gonna set a deadline to when, you know what, this is a time where we have to visit? Not just sit on it and leave it, let it go, where we can bring it back on it and actually start talking and put it on these agendas to start moving forward on these parks. Because you're right, we're not gonna leave it like that, just not have a place for, because to play right now, I think we're having an issue at the Fireman's Park with these kids playing basketball, and these lights are off at 6:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
So, I mean, we have to work here and put it back on there so we can move forward.
Councilman, yeah?
Well, a lot of this we gotta discuss during the budget, and this is sometimes why we gotta do unpopular decisions in raising taxes to compensate, to do improvements such as this, because unfortunately, it does take money. $140,000, we can't do it overnight or pull it from somewhere other than tax funds or some sort of revenue. So this is something that we gotta collect, and in the beginning of the budget of next year, or this coming up year, determine what we need and what we gotta do to generate those funds to do projects like this.
Very, very good point, Councilman Leon. You were not here when we talked about the budget with a financial report a little bit, and it is a very important topic. And Councilman Trevino, your comment about, the budget is already set for this year, and our revenues are already outlined against our expenses. And so, short of some kind of manna from heaven, we wouldn't be able to make that happen this year. But certainly, as we prepare for the budget, and then wanted to also let Councilman Leal know that the comprehensive master plan is in place. And I want to just stress that that document is also to be used as we look and see what are A-type priorities that we got to get fixed. I mean, we got infrastructure we need to address, we got a wastewater system plant, we need a new water well. So the decision will be the council's, but then you can weigh all these things, and it's not that playground equipment isn't important or essential. I'm not gonna say essential, but important, but we'll get a chance to look at all of that. And again, the comprehensive master plan is from now to 10 to 20 years out here, so it'll address all those things. So great comment, we definitely need to be thinking about where we're gonna generate the money to meet these things. And it is unfortunate that we're not able to replace these. I think the council, I can say on behalf of them that we're disappointed that we can't, but at this time, there's financial limitations. So with that, council, is there any other questions? We've got a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and call for a vote to approve the demolition of the playground equipment at Marino Park and Trevino Sports Complex. There's a motion and a second. May I have all in favor? Councilman, yes, motion passes unanimously. Okay, at this point, we're on item 8.
Excuse me. We just had a tournament this past weekend. We have a lot of people from out of town. This was their first time ever coming to the sports complex. And we had a whole bunch of compliments. Being that the playground area was closed, we still had a lot of compliments. Being that the park is almost 30 years old. So that was good to hear that, we're still getting the compliments out there.
Well, I'd like to commend Ram for the good job that he does in keeping our, not only his parks, but he's also keeping the buildings clean, and all those things are under his purview. So well done, well done. At this point, folks, we're on item 8J. I have asked that the municipal judge come and go over some of the things that he's been doing since he's been employed as a municipal judge and address questions of the council. We've got some documents for you there to review as you look over historical cases, historical revenue for the past few years. Want to please note that 2 of those years are COVID related, and things were, really kind of have to throw those out. And then this year, as we look at it, remember that's the first 10 months. So again, annualized, which is kind of dangerous, but annualized would make those figures roughly 1,184 cases and about 115,000 in revenue. And so, as you recall, when we brought our judge on, we moved him to full-time. And so, I'm gonna have him come up. There's a few other things, too, that he's working on. I want him to share with the council, that will help in the collection of some of these tickets and the governor's reports. But Judge, on the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. Municipal court activity is a broad subject, so if you could tell me, I can give you a rough idea of, what we've done thus far and go a little further into depth. We developed a courtesy letter, which we still haven't gotten somebody to pull the trigger on that. And I put this together, Mayor, just a couple of pages of what we do.
You want me to hand them out for you?
Yeah, if you don't mind. That courtesy letter would help the police department tremendously and people that are traveling that are not from the area to assist them take care of their citations without even having to come to court or having to call the court. Another thing, it's pretty much self-explanatory. I think that would be very beneficial not only for the municipal court, but for the police department. The officers could just hand that out with that citation. They have all the information that they need, to take care of their citation, or they have the option to come to the municipal court, and appear in their court date. We also put together a community service sheet for people that, in lieu of paying a fine, for the lack of resources or funds, can do that. We've had great success, closing out a lot of cases. Some of them came in and said, hey, we didn't know that was available to us. The last page is part of the code compliance meetings that we had. The bottom section that's highlighted is what we added after, we had citizens come in and say, hey, we're not being warned, we're not, we're, for the lack of better words, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But us as a city, you need to provide that to the citizens and say, hey, look, you do have an option to take care or remedy the city ordinance violation, and in lieu of paying the full fine amount, you pay $25 compliance fee, and that would take care of it. Of course, that only goes for the first go around. That's some of the initial things we're working on. We're working on some other issues, trying to clear old jackets that we have. A lot of stored, beyond, I guess, statute of limitations. It was from prior administrations, probably before, any one of us were here. But we're in the process of taking care of that. We've got a meeting scheduled with the city manager, city attorney, and the mayor and the prosecutors. That way, we can all come to consensus and try to get that thing moving a little faster. I tend to visit with the community service locations when these individuals, have opted to do the community service, and just to keep the court's integrity there and make sure that they're not out doing something else, or they're a friend and somebody's trying to pull a fast one. We have had some that we've had removed, and that's not by our request. It's the entities, because of issues that they had with the people that were running it. But I told them, I said, that's fine, we appreciate the intel. Just let us know if you ever get somebody that's reliable or dependable, and we can put them back on there. I know currently we've got 2 open court dates scheduled per month. We've got 1 truancy court that we usually schedule. We now added the show cause as well, so we got 4 court dates. In a perfect world, we'd have them every month, but for whatever reasons, at times, we can't. We can't. But I mean, truancy officers fail to meet the deadline. We need at least a good 15 days so we can, get everything together and send out the notices and stuff. And I know for right now, I think truancy officers out on sick leave, so, we're working with the school district in reference to try to hold one, this month. I know we had one scheduled for last month. The community service has been beneficial to the city. I mean, we've had countless amounts of hours that were donated by community service to the city of Pearsall, whether it was at the PD here, the Civic Center, or the dog pound. You know, that's helped alleviate some of the backlog of the jackets that just sat there and were stale. You know, a lot of times if you don't have the operating system in play, like right now the jail is the main concern. We could have courts and get to the point where we issue KPS profiling, but they're gonna take the more violent crimes over your Class C traffic citations. So we're also in the process of trying to sit down and talk to the sheriff's department. And I think the mayor and I discussed this to where if they do open it up to 96 beds, maybe possibly convincing them to have 15 set aside to where we can develop a rotational schedule, kind of like we have right now for the judges and magistrates that go magistrate and people get arrested, in order to try to start clearing out those dockets by having court and issuing those K-plus profiles. And once we start, you know, finding a place for them, word gets out. So that would also help clear some more cases. But like I said, that's in the works. We got that to look forward to, and hopefully if the sheriff's department, you know, agrees, I think that'll be a good tool for all of the JPs and the municipal courts to utilize. Let's see, what else? Oh, during the first year here, working as a municipal court judge, I did make it a point to go out and visit with the local JPs and did an average of the revenue they were taking in compared to what was coming in with the city. And we were pretty much average what they were averaging. And that's, I guess, a personal issue that I take upon myself and criticize. You know, I wanted to see, hey, you know, what's the difference between me and whoever was here, and the difference between full-time and part-time. And it's taken a while. It's taken a while, but it looks like we're getting the balls rolling and in motion in the right direction.
Council, do you have any specific questions for our municipal judge?
I do have a question. I see an increase in traffic warnings from the beginning of the year till now. Is there an increase in traffic citations? And also, this is for you, Fred, how many officers do we have on staff?
I believe there's 20 uniform officers, is that right?
We have 18, sir.
18?
18 total on the police staff.
Yes, 18, and then you have animal control and, animal control and code enforcement officer. Just 20. But yes, 18.
Can I make mention that we're short right now, 3 officers?
So 21 you should have.
We should have 18.
Oh, you should have 18, so you're
Short right
15.
now.
We're short, yes, sir.
15. Because I see on the October 2022 report, there's 73 citations, 218 warnings, so that's roughly 25% of contact is given a citation.
What page are you on? Come.
I'm on this right here. Because your workload only depends on what's being done out in the street.
What comes in?
Correct.
What comes in through the city of Pearsall, the Pearsall Independent School District, ACO, and code compliance.
And have you seen an increase in stuff coming in?
through ACO, yes, tremendously. And by the way,
That's a good thing, that's a good thing.
No, it is, but that $25 compliance that y'all agreed on a while back in city council, that alleviated a lot of the issues and complaints.
Because that means he's visible.
That means he's out there, and, you know, we can afford that option the first go around. It's like I tell the people when they come to court, it's like, hey, look, you know, first time we got it, but the second time, no, you know, you should know better. You got the warning, and it's all written, and what you need to do to take care of it. But yeah, we can only go with, what comes in.
Because ultimately, people want to see visibility.
Sure.
And this tells what's going on.
What about code compliance? Do you have anything coming in with that?
Code compliance, I believe, Mr. Reyes, we only have the, so far as, the lot and the building, and we're currently working on,
We demolished, we cleaned up 2 properties so far. There's been a good chunk of warnings that were given. Citation wise, I wanna say there's been some, but not a lot. There's been a lot more warnings than our citations, I'll put it that way. Both, the 2 properties that were cleaned up, those are properties that were a long time coming in, so we're looking at a third party. Our goal was and is to try to clear, if we need to, we prefer not to, but if we need to clear a property month. And so these are problems, folks that we sent warnings to, issued citations to, municipal court has summoned, they're not showing up to court, the property's still in bad shape. And there's been, the challenge with code enforcement sometimes is the challenge. You definitely have to go do, in my opinion, do more loopholes because you're messing with somebody's property. And so we're having to notify landowners, we have to notify, we're taking, I think we had some episodes where we removed junk vehicles. It's been about a year or so ago. And so the municipal court part of, the junk vehicle, that needs to run through municipal court to make sure that the judge, they order that these vehicles be removed. So we have to do that as well, but that's our goal is to at least clear 1 property a month from folks that are non-compliant, with cleaning, and we're not, just to make sure we're not clearing structures. All we're doing is basically clearing out lots, weeds, and some of the, I think we cleared the property off of, what was the first one we did?
Llamas and Sanchez,
Llamas and Sanchez, and then we did another one here
123 Vid.
on Benton Street. Those are the 2 properties we've done. It's expensive even to clear the lots. I mean, we're paying, I don't know what we paid to have those cleared. I think it was
First one was almost $6,000.
$6,000.
Second one was almost $4,000.
So we paid about,
We file a lien against each property.
we file a lien on the properties, and so we have to run that through, our city attorney also helps us with the liens, so we're having to do that, so, it's at a cost, but yes, to answer your question, there's some warnings and then giving citations, but we'd like to, our preference is to have people comply. I'm just for the warning, there has been some compliance with warnings, but yeah, we have to start giving citations, and that's what we'll do.
Yes, Councilwoman Hernandez.
On these, traffic tickets or whatever, incidents and citations, what's the percentage more or less on a monthly basis on them being dismissed?
on them being dismissed, I can tell you, if an officer wrote the citation, we got different case scenarios. If an officer wrote the citation because an individual couldn't find his insurance card or, his driver's license, doesn't necessarily mean that person didn't have his driver's license for the insurance, he just couldn't provide it, or he couldn't find it on his phone. So that officer goes ahead and writes the citation. Well, when they show up and, they bring the proof, that's an automatic dismissal because, we check it, make sure, hey, it was current at the date and time that, traffic citation occurred. Those are flat out dismissals. Now, the other dismissals we're talking about are compliance dismissals. Your registration, again, if they had insurance, your driver's license, you get a citation for, your address on your driver's license, not being up to date. If you go and get it remedied before your court date, by law, you qualify to get that I think for the driver's license, $10 compliance dismissal instead of paying the actual fine. Now, granted, once they go beyond that point, then no, we have to go through the whole system, and go from there.
What about code compliance?
Code- So far,
On the code compliance, when he gives, citations or tickets or,
well, you referring to animals, tall grass, or junk vehicles, or, okay, because they're all different. You know, it's like Mr. Reyes said, when it comes to somebody's property, you know, in order for you to do stuff, you know, and Bobby's checked on it, you have to go through a district court with the property.